Rolling. Oh yeah! Policy Genius. Thank you, Policy Genius. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net. You deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description of our podcast to get your free life insurance quotes. See how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. Right now, Roman has a special offer for our listeners. Use this link, the following link, to get 20% off your first order. Just go to ro.co/JRVP today. That's ro.co/JRVP for 20% off for genuine FDA-approved medication for as little as $4 per dose. How long have you had your mattress? How much do you want your sleep to improve? If you want a better sleep experience, go to Helix. 14 unique mattresses. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/JRVP. With Helix, better sleep starts now. Right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/JRVP. It's a great holiday gift for the smoker in your life. Go to dadgrass.com/JRVP for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/JRVP. They also got some edibles. After that, drink a little Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens is giving a 1-year free supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Visit athleticgreens.com/JRVP for a free 1-year supply of that vitamin D and those 5 free travel packs. Plus, you get all that great Athletic Greens to have every morning. That's athleticgreens.com/JRVP. You tried to avoid the beginning, Anthony, didn't you, by taking off the headphones?
It's too much.
Oh, yeah. You can't avoid it. You also can't avoid a little conversation about the best Buddhist temple ever, the one thing we'd take from a burning fire, and the stirring end to our listener junior vice president competition on episode 184 of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project.
JRVP.
Junior vice president.
If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face. Forever.
I know the listeners love it when there's just a little bit of mistake in the sound drops. So I just try to give the people what they want.
I enjoy, for comedic effect, a confident fuck up. When you're like, I'm on it, boom, wrong song. Right away. Right off the top.
Well, I saw that I pressed the wrong thing and said, oh, no. I'm excited, though. I'm excited for this show.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm excited to recap the All Things Comedy Holiday Party, which happened, was it Friday night? Saturday night?
Friday night.
Let's recap the All Things Comedy Party. Gregg, did you go?
I did not go, no.
I did not go either. We both bailed on the All Things Comedy Party. And one of the great pleasures of life, I don't care how old you are. As you get older, yes, it becomes more pleasurable. But even when I was like in high school, being invited to a party and then not going last minute, it feels so good. that it was like felt like Christmas. Like All Things Comedy's Christmas gift to me was to invite me to a party and then have me bail last second without telling anyone except for you. I gave you the heads up.
You did tell me, and at that point, I was also planning to bail, but it wasn't something personal. It was just I had a babysitter the next night. I had barely been home to help my children all week. It's the end of a long week. It's a long drive. I knew you weren't going to stay there very long. I'm bad at small talk with people I don't know anyways, but more than anything, there's a lot of COVID going around. And it's like I sort of balance, like, if I really want to do something, then maybe you take a little more risk. But it feels good to stay home.
A lot of COVID going around, and it's a Friday night. I'm kind of worn down from hiking with Rummy as I do every Friday. And Liz is still recovering from the flu. She's like, I'd say 90% right now. But anyone who's had the flu knows it takes a while to really feel good. And the party was, I'm sure it was great, but they're like, open bar doesn't apply to me. Okay? Karaoke does not apply to me. Food truck, I'm not waiting in a line for any food. I'd be like, Aaron, get me a taco, is what I would say. And I wanted Aaron to be able to enjoy himself and have the party. There are people I wish I could have gone and seen and talked to. There's some All Things Comedy staff that I like to talk to that I don't get to see very often. It would have been fun to kind of chat with them. Al Madrigal, I haven't seen in person in a year, maybe 2 years, that I would have liked to talk to him. But otherwise, I was very happy to bail on the party, go with Liz, get a Christmas tree, get some hot cocoa, and hang out. Aaron, how was the party?
It was good.
Did your wife go?
Yeah.
And was it like crazy, or was it just a little more subdued?
It was pretty packed, but not crazy. Karaoke went off a little bit later, like after the 11 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were people just like, where's Anthony and Gregg? Like, where are they? They said they RSVP'd yes.
He came up a lot, yeah.
I felt a void.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Al Madrigal there?
Yes.
Were any surprise guests, any people that... Was Bill Burr there?
Yes.
Okay. And it was all like, was it mostly talent, or was it mostly behind the scenes, talentless?
There were a lot of people I didn't recognize, so I'd assume people behind the scenes that I don't know.
How many people were behind the scenes at All Things Comedy? I would guess like 8.
I know all of us. There's 11 of us, but like there were like, I guess, managers or agents. I don't know.
Ugh. What if your manager went to the All Things Comedy holiday party? Get a new manager. My manager was not there. I'm sure. I'd be shocked.
I mean,
that's just my guess. I did not introduce myself to people I did not know.
Well, it might have been just plus ones and whatnot. I mean, it's a bold move not only to get that nice feeling of not going to an engagement, which you're right, does feel nice, especially as you get older.
Yes.
And just like nice chill night. I think I watched some basketball. But it's another thing to start your podcast sort of rubbing it in the nose of some of the people at the company who do listen to our podcast. I've learned they have the inside jokes when we were having the barbecue. People really know what's going on JRVP.
It's their job to listen to it. It's their job. I'm not going to like congratulate them on doing their job. I just think that it's not a bad thing that we went. I thought we'd talk about it up top just to be like, hey, we know there was a party. We would have liked to have gone. We're old. We didn't. You're going to die of COVID. I just want to set that up right off the top.
Well, the non-drinking thing is a factor. Like we met the next night. We had dinner plans. That's where my babysitter usage was on the week, was Saturday night for us to have dinner. And it is different now that we're having post-drinking dinners together. This is a new era.
We've had some non-drinking dinners here and there, but that was maybe the first you, me, and Emeka. That was a great dinner.
It was.
That food was amazing. A great time, great atmosphere. You got to see what it's like when waiters recognize me and try to be funny and make little jokes. We got all the desserts for free at the end, which is great. I like when they give me a bunch of different desserts. But I was nice to people. Like at one point, the guy was like
nice to people.
At one point, when the guy poured my beer all over my non-alcoholic beer, he tried to pour a beer can into a glass and did the thing where you tilt it and like pissed beer all over the table. That I was like, this must be like difficult. And then I got another one later on, and they perfectly poured it. It was shocking to see, but I didn't say anything. I didn't make fun of the guy.
I can tell you that no matter how like foamy it is, it's not that difficult to pour a can into the glass without missing the glass entirely for 3 straight seconds. But when you have world famous comedian Anthony Jeselnik there, because we were debating, me and you, whether they knew who you were after we saw the waiter and another one of the guys kind of do a little routine where he talked about his commercial work. He's like, oh, you might know him from the Serta ad, and it all seemed choreographed. And that was the moment where I knew they knew who you were, because they had a whole bit.
Yeah, I was very polite until the very end when I went to the bathroom after we'd eaten the meal, before he offered us the free desserts, and said, are you guys celebrating anything? And I just went, no. And just like kept walking. Like I didn't even stop to be like, oh no, actually we're just hanging out with friends. I just went, no, and just sat down. And then
but why is it that someone trying to be funny to you is like the worst thing that someone can do? I've even learned that as a friend.
Yeah.
Our friendship ended for a while, but then I just stopped trying to be funny. Like if someone tries to be funny to you, you find it disgusting.
I do.
You make that clear to them.
I do. I always think about the scene in Deadwood when a guy tries to make a joke to Al Swearingen. Al Swearingen goes, what? And he goes, I'm just making a joke. And he goes, no. Don't be funny with me, Danny. And I always think that whenever someone tries to joke around with me, don't be funny with me. Old people can get away with it because it's like they're naturally, it's not like they're trying too hard. But especially a waiter, someone who's like working for me, don't try to make me laugh, because it's what I do.
Shout out to Girl and the Goat. That was one of the best meals I've had in Los Angeles.
It's incredible. I can't wait to go back. Normally, you're like, oh, this was good. I want to go back at some point. I would have gone back the next day.
Same.
I would have gone for lunch. It was incredible. I was looking for a place to go after my birthday hockey game that I'm going to on the 22nd. But I decided, you know what? I want Liz to cook for me. I don't want to be running out from the game trying to get to a late reservation. Let's just go home. She's a wonderful cook. She was thrilled when I told her I'd rather she cooked for my birthday. I'm taking her to dinner for her birthday the day before. A very, very nice dinner. It's kind of like dinner for both of us because it's so good. Have you ever been to Providence?
I mean, yeah, if you're going to be there at the dinner, it's celebrating her birthday, but you get to eat the same food, so it's equally yours, the enjoyment.
Yeah, we always get to eat the same food, but I am...
Wait, your birthdays are one day apart?
Yeah, she's the 21st, I'm the 22nd.
Okay.
It's great. It's the best.
Well, yeah, then 2 dinners is too much.
You know how girls try to do like a birthday week? Aaron, back me up on this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, it's my birthday this month. What are we doing?
People
planning all these things. And with her, it's like, here's your birthday. And at midnight, my birthday. It's my birthday now, and I love it. I think it's great. It's a hard out for her birthday.
Well, why not just start her birthday then well before her birthday? Like the birthday week is like the 5 days before her birthday. If I'm Liz, if she's listening to this episode of the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project, JRVP,
Junior Vice President,
then she'll get the tip from me. Start about the 17th. Have like an advent calendar for your birthday.
Trust
Except
me.
It's only about a week.
Trust me. Every day is Liz's birthday when she's dating me. Okay? I'm throwing out the presents pretty liberally. You want to ask what my quote's from?
Please, tell me.
Aaron, do you know what my quote's from?
It wasn't Die Hard.
It was not Die Hard. That's correct, Aaron.
All right.
You've narrowed it down.
What was it again? Now it's been so long I forget it.
If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. That's George Orwell, 1984. It's episode 184. I thought, let's get a quote from 1984. And if you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping. I like stamping, not stomping. Stamping on a human face, -- forever. It's cold. It's cold shit.
Have you reread 1984 anytime recently?
I read it for the first time 5 years ago. I'd never read it when I was a kid.
And what were your thoughts?
Loved it. I read it because I was reading a book that I think you gave me about 3 Bricks Shy of a Load, the book about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
It's a great, all-time great sports book. And they were talking about one of the players, one of the linemen, was getting in the training room getting treatment and found a copy of it and picked it up, and it scared him so bad that he couldn't function as a human being for a year. It messed him up. And I was like, oh, I want to read that. And I thought it was great.
I want to reread it too. I like George Orwell. I like Down and Out in Paris and London. But I think it's like Aaron Rodgers' favorite book, and it's been brought up many times in these sort of culture war discussions over the last year or two. It's almost putting a stain on it that anything that Aaron Rodgers or is brought up this much is somehow lesser.
Yeah,
but
Aaron Rodgers
can be a great book.
Aaron Rodgers almost made John Wick not cool. And do you know how hard that is to do? It's almost impossible. They've spent 3 movies trying. I can't wait for the 4th movie. But George Orwell, 1984, great book. Animal Farm, it's a kid's book. It's a kid's book.
No.
Okay? Talking about communism all you want. It's for kids. It's animals that talk and make signs and drink. And one of the animals dies. It's for kids. It's for kids.
It can be for both.
Kids and adults?
It's like Charlotte's Web. That's for kids and adults.
No. Charlotte's Web is for kids. It's for kids and spiders. Other than that, I told you I got my Christmas tree. I don't want to keep you guys in the dark about that. I do have a Christmas tree. Hired a new assistant, I believe. We're going through paperwork right now. We'll see if it ends up fully happening. Interviewed 3 girls, picked the one that seemed like the most on the ball. So I'm excited to see where things work out with this. I will keep you all posted. It could be a disaster. You never know. I've been getting acupuncture every Monday for the past 4 weeks, I believe, and it's helping me so much. If you have back problems like I do, and you don't have a Helix mattress that takes away all your back problems, get your acupuncture. It's not that expensive. Your insurance will cover the most of it, and it is a game changer for my
Really?
back.
Your insurance covers acupuncture?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean, I've got that public insurance. I don't know if they get it for me, the Obamacare.
Thanks,
They
NFL.
cover it?
No, it's amazing. I love acupuncture. I'll tell people about it. I told my family, like, oh, you got to get acupuncture if you have a bad back, and they looked at me like I was like, oh, you need to like meditate on the top of Buddha's mountain. They don't get it. It's medicine. It's amazing. Better than a chiropractor. Saw a movie. Watched a movie Friday night, I believe, when I was staying in. I recommend this to you at dinner. Did you watch Meet Me in the Bathroom?
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Aaron, have you seen Meet Me in the Bathroom?
No, but I feel like that's something you could have said to someone at the All Things Comedy holiday.
Hey now.
Oh, just to be clear, you're saying that Bill Burr does cocaine?
No.
Okay.
This could have been your chance, by the way, to get some quality time with the boss here, or for me too. Who knows what could have happened if I went to the party? Maybe I made a mistake.
I'm my own boss. It would have been fun to see. I haven't seen Bill in a while, but I love seeing Al Madrigal. Al Madrigal and I'm a world-class shit talker. I love it. Madrigal has me beat. And when we team up, it's fucking Batman and Robin, and we have a great time. I always love talking trash with Al. But maybe next year, if the party's different. Meet Me in the Bathroom is a documentary based on a book that I recommended a long time ago. It's about the New York comedy scene circa the Strokes explosion, Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Interpol, LCD Sound System, and the book was great. And the documentary, it came out in theaters for a couple of weeks, and it came out on Showtime as of Thursday night, Friday night, and watched it, loved it. Loved it so much I ditched Apple Music for Spotify, because Spotify had the full soundtrack that someone just put together. And I don't know why I waited so long to get on Spotify, but I'm on it now, and I'm into it. I'm into it hard.
It's time to grow up. It's like, I'm just being like being not on Spotify. It's like grow up. Be an adult. Get on Spotify.
You think I'm some little kid listening to Apple Music, reading Animal Farm to spiders? No.
I was on Tidal for 4 or 5 years, and then I got onto Spotify, and I was just like, what an immature little bitch I used to be, and now I'm a full-grown man.
I was on Tidal for about a year and did not enjoy it. I got on there to get a Kanye album. That was like, you have to go to the Tidal to get it. Yeah, I got it, and now do not know if it's still even a thing.
It's around. It's okay.
You know what else I saw? And we talked last week. You recommended Tar. And I told you that it's been tough. I've been meaning to watch it, but it's been tough because it's 2 hours, 45 minutes. I watched it 2 nights ago. Watched Tar with Liz. We both loved it. I watched it. Liz took off last night. It was just me by myself. I watched Tar again.
Holy shit.
And loved it even more. Because the first time you're like kind of like trying to figure out what's happening as it's happening. The second time you see it, you kind of know, and you kind of, it's even better the second time. And a lot of movies I'll love and be like, I don't want to watch it again because I don't want to like ruin my enjoyment that I felt watching it the first time. And Tar, when Tar hits like HBO Max, that bitch is on repeat for sure. It's a Tar Christmas. Aaron, have you seen Tar?
No.
Tar is awesome.
I feel like we're going to be the #1 supporters of Tar out there. I mean,
so
people love it who have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I think critics like it and everything, but not many people have seen it. I'm with you. I'm so glad. I want to see it again as well. I should have just bought it instead of. Was that even an option?
It was 25 to buy, 19 or 20 to rent, and I just rented because I'm like, who knows if I'm gonna. Sometimes I will buy it, and then I'm like, why do I have The Northman? Like I loved it, but I'm not gonna watch it again. But I wish I had bought Tar. I would have watched it. I would have watched. Maybe I'll watch it again tonight. I think my 48-hour rental runs out around like midnight, and Liz was like, oh, I want to watch it again. I would definitely check that out.
Kate Blanchett
it's awesome.
is such a badass in that.
She's awesome. I just love a character. I like a main character who's very flawed and a genius. That's like, it's fun to watch those two commingle, and she's incredible. But the movie, they'd thought of everything before they started filming, if you will. Like it's a very competently done movie. Loved it. One of my favorites of the year, movie wise. And then other than that, I'm hating stand-up comedy this month. Hating it. I went from being on the road and walking out to people who are like, oh, thank you for coming to my town, my village. And it's packed. It's 300 to 500 people waiting for me. They're going nuts. Everything I say in the beginning, they're just like going crazy. They're like, yes, it's awesome. And then I went to the Comedy Store last week. It was like 90 people in the main room. It was after Thanksgiving. There's a lot of people there. And just ate shit for like 15 minutes. And everyone was eating shit. There was just no energy. And I was like, why am I... It was such a whiplash from what I've been used to for the past 2 months. That I was like, fuck. Like I'm doing a couple sets this week at the Improv in the Comedy Store, and now I'm a little more prepared. But I'm just so used to like, oh, this is what it's like when I go on stage, and it was not like that. That I was like, oh, this is just gonna suck for a month until I go back out in January.
But was it worse than it was for the last year or so, or you just now notice it after doing your own shows?
This was if I had put like Tuesday, Wednesday show, maybe Wednesday show. If I put it up against all the other shows I did in LA, it would be the worst one. But it's just the energy level, headlining versus being in a showcase, that it was just extra bad. That I'm like, oh, I just kind of want to do stand up when it's hundreds of people for me, not these like little workout rooms that you have to do anyway.
That's why you put in the work.
I know.
That's why you show up to training camp at La Trobe and work in the heat for 6 weeks to get ready for the regular season.
It would be like winning the Super Bowl and then getting up and getting right back into the weight room the next day. That's and right. Doing like legs. You know what I mean? It's like okay, give yourself a little time and like get hungry again. And I'm going to go back out and do it. I was just like, this sucks. I hate it. I'm going to talk about it in the podcast. What do you got for this week?
Not much. I ate with you. That was fun. Mm-hmm. I was thinking, leaving there, that I think I ate more last week, just overall food intake, than any week in my entire life. I definitely gained more weight, I think, in a single week than I've ever had. They closed down the free food at the NFL last week. I mentioned this to you, so that the day I came here and we had free barbecue here, I had already eaten twice at the NFL, 11:30 and 1:30. Had a lunch before my show there and after, just because I was trying to get the free food while it was still free. And then we had the barbecue here. And Emeka was just like, we were laughing about it leaving that dinner with you, which we also chowed. And just that she just said, like, I'm amazed how much like you can suddenly eat. That it went from when I was sick about a month ago, I lost all this weight and I was looking good, to now like I've really built myself up. There were a few other days that were strange where I would like eat extra meals, and I'm just proud of myself, that I can do this, that I can eat that much.
So you're trying to like, you're like a squirrel getting ready for winter and just like shoving it all into your cheeks so that when the NFL doesn't have food anymore, you're just gonna what? Are you going to Panera Bread? Or are you just going to sit there and remember the good times?
I've only eaten one meal there that hasn't been free now in the week since, so I am eating less. I am someone like I can go through streaks of not eating. Like eating is like exercising for me, or reading. Like once if you build up a good base, then you can like do way more and more of it. But sometimes you like get out of shape. But if you start building up like your tolerance of how much you can put down in a day, like it gets bigger and bigger. And I'm just telling you, I think I can eat more like right now than almost any time in my life.
Aaron, what do you think about that?
I mean,
was it the most boring thing you've ever heard?
I'm jealous that he can still be the size he is and eat that much, but other than that, did we need that?
It's not like a hot body. I don't know what else happened. It's week 13. I'm grinding here. We're doing like 8 or 9 shows a week. There wasn't anything huge going on.
Let's talk Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State for Colorado. How do you feel?
I mean, I'm not like a college football person. I listen to Bomani Jones a lot, his podcast, and this has been a pet topic for him. He's talked about since the beginning. And I, as someone who used to be a coworker with Deion, he doesn't know that, but we were coworkers at the NFL Network. Like it was clearly all about Deion the whole time, and that's fine. But he was sort of selling it as like he was on 60 Minutes, and all he was saying on 60 Minutes was like about raising up these young black men at historically black universities, that he's doing it for them and because God told him to. And then like the second he could get a better job, he was like, see ya.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. And I do agree with Babani that like it's fine, except why did he have to talk it up like God told him to save HBCUs? I think that looks bad on him. But every coach is lying. Every coach is telling a recruit like, come to me, not knowing if they're going to be there or not. People can leave for the transfer portal now. I did like watching him go to Colorado immediately and telling them all to fucking get out. Having a team meeting to say you're not gonna have a place here. I'm bringing my own luggage and it's Louis. I think is a very funny line.
Someone was wearing a Cincinnati Reds hat to try to kiss up to Deion Sanders, essentially, because he used to be on the Reds. And during the meeting, he says, there will be no more baseball hats in the meeting. Like,
Yeah, I like Deion. I don't have a problem with this, but I see how people could get upset. I think a lot of it, though, is racism. A lot of the criticism is like, because Deion is so, me, it's such a diva. But like a guy who pays it off in spades, I think they just like kind of trying to take him down. That I think there are certainly white coaches who are not famous who do this all the time.
Sure, I agree with that. It was more just. I think the problem Bomani had, I'm just basically repeating what he said, was he wasn't like recognizing the role Jackson State had in all of this. He barely thanked them. He basically was just kind of like, see you later, didn't talk to the media after that. Like, yes, he was recorded his meeting with his teams, but he has his like own production company that puts out all this stuff. So it's fascinating though, because Deion is like, he's a force of personality. He's one of the most famous athletes of the last 30 or 40 years. In college football, whatever modicum of like, hey, this is actually kids going to a school has been totally kind of wiped away. And now it's so much closer to just professional football. And every kid's going to want to be like, yeah, I want to go play for Deion. So now he's there and the transfer portal's open. He's just like, all right, bros, like come play with me. And everyone's going to be all about it because he's Deion Sanders. And it doesn't really matter like where you go to school. I mean, you can go to the NFL regardless. I
agree. I love it. I'm excited to watch what happens in Colorado. But I co-sign everything Bomani says about everything. Bomani, you're the champ. And now it's time for Did We Get Any Notes?
Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get any notes?
It's a banger. We've been getting a note for the last couple of weeks, and this is I got in perpetuity, I believe, the note. Greg and I mispronounce things sometimes. I'll see people arguing online like, oh, they mispronounced this. Anthony doesn't know how to pronounce pseudoscience. How often do you say pseudoscience? You read it a lot, but saying it, we mess up.
The fact that you said pseudo is pretty. That one is worth mocking you for.
Sure, but I'm saying go ahead and mock away. We don't care. You mispronounce things. I mispronounce things.
I've never mispronounced anything.
You haven't?
No.
That must have been Aaron, you son of a bitch. The note is, that's fine. We don't care. I'm happy to mispronounce things and have someone correct me. Sometimes we don't do it in the moment on the podcast because we're just moving on. But yeah, go ahead and knock it out the park. We don't care. I'll mispronounce anything I want to. And now, let's go to what everyone's been waiting for. The Junior Vice President fan submission contest top 3. Are you ready, Aaron?
Yeah.
Is this bittersweet for you, Aaron? Are you sad that you don't get to say Junior Vice President anymore after this? Do you want to do it one more time? You want to do give your little shout out on the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity project?
JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
Ooh, we're going to miss it.
I liked it.
We're going to miss it. That was maybe the best one. Now, let me tell you something. When Greg and I had dinner, we were talking. I was like, have you been going through these submissions? And Greg said, absolutely not. I'm not going to.
I did not say that.
You did.
I did not.
I may have tightened it up a little bit, but you were like,
I said I would eventually. I haven't yet. I was like, am I going to listen to every single one?
Yeah, you weren't going to listen to all of them, which is crazy to me because you don't know what you're getting. And so Greg sent them all to me. It
was like
all
50.
the submissions, like 50, 75 submissions, and I went through every single one. And here's what I learned. Okay. Thank you all for submitting these. A lot of you took the wrong lessons from this. You knew what I wanted. You knew I wanted something sexy. Maybe not as sexy as Aaron does it, because it's kind of like takes you out of it a little bit because it's so sexy, but something sexy. A lot of people, shockingly, went with the Sean Connery pronunciation of Junior Vice President, which was an immediate no-go. There were a lot of them that I listened to once and was like gone.
There were a lot of impressions.
Yes, and some that I thought about a little bit, and then we're like, no. But we narrowed it down to third place, second place, and then the new first place call sign going forward, the Junior Vice President. So, Greg, you've not heard these yet. Is that correct?
I have not heard.
Okay.
The ones
I sent them to Greg, and I was like, tee it up. I put the names in front of you. We're going to play them. We'll give them credit, and we'll move on until we get to the final one. So, Greg, play me our third place finisher. This one delighted me. I enjoyed this.
All right, here we go.
Hi guys, greetings from Germany. I heard about your call to give you an intro. I'm a big fan of yours, so I will give you two versions. I know you won't choose any of these, but I tried. At least you have tried. So version 1 is, wait a minute, wait for it, Junior Vice President. And then I thought of a second version, like where George Costanza says, like, these pretzels are making me thirsty, like a version like that. It's Junior Vice President.
Okay, I love that. When I first, like, if that guy did not have the German accent, I would have delete immediately. But he's got some charm to it. You know, I enjoyed that. And when he said I got another one, I was like, are you doing a second take? And then he said, like, George Costanza saying these pretzels are making me thirsty. He's like, I can't wait to hear it. And he did not let me down. Who was that?
That was Bastian from Germany. Basti Red on Instagram. He's got a lot of followers.
Yeah, thank you, Bastian. You were close. You got into the top 3, and he's the highest finishing guy. A lot of the guys, it wasn't what we were looking for. I appreciate there were more guys submissions than women submissions, but I like that. And of the female submissions, I picked this one for second place. You've not heard this, Gregg. Play it for me.
Junior Vice President.
That was good. That was like, it was like, do we go with this? It's just missing that little extra oomph. But I like the female voice in this space, and I enjoyed that. Who was that? Madison?
That was Madison.
Yes. We don't know where Madison's from, but thank you, Madison, for giving these. And there were a couple other female submissions that were very similar to Madison's. I thought Madison was the best one, but the second place to Madison was right there. I just wanted to give my boy Bastian a shout out before I went to Madison. And now here is the Gregg's giving me hand signals as if we're not on camera. Like you it doesn't matter.
I mean, most of the people listen on audio. But
sure.
Yes, please watch us on YouTube.
Watch it on YouTube. People enjoy it. This is going to be number 1. This is going to be going forward. This is locked in. That every time we do it from now on, we will have this winning submission. You want to say? Let's do. We'll say the name of the show and then we'll play that. Ready?
All right.
This is the new winner of the Junior Vice President contest on the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project.
JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
That's the winner. Gregg, who was that?
That is Erica from Los Angeles.
Congratulations, Erica. And that was, did we get any notes?
And that was, did we get any notes? Notes. Did we get notes? Did we get notes? Did we get notes? Did we get any notes?
I think the fans will enjoy that one moving forward. And now it's time for a little thing we like to call the corner, the email corner.
Email corner. Emails are a thing. Email corner. It's email corner.
Guys, emails have been around for a long time. We like to harness the power of the email, have some listener submissions, some viewer submissions, send them to us. Gregg sends them to me. I pick a couple of them. Gregg, what do we got this week?
All right, we have the last question from the trio of lady listeners, Lauren, Haley, and Holly, who had a bunch of questions, and I've used them over the last few weeks because they were good at asking them. So we'll take more if you got them. They ask, if your house is burning down and you can only take one thing with you to save, and then in parentheses, Emeka, the kids, Liz, and Rummy get out safe guaranteed, what would you pick and why? Is there anything that you would want to make sure burns and doesn't make it out? Which is an interesting second part I didn't really consider.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that I have that I'm like, I wish that would go away. I wish that would burn.
Me neither.
Although I do have, like, right before the pandemic, I bought, do you know what Indian clubs are?
No.
It's like a workout thing. They look like bowling pins almost, and they're different weights. And you do like workout things where you open up your shoulders with them. You do these little exercises with them that my trainer had been working on me with. And I was like, I want some for my home. And then I never used them. So I've got these like big metal. I've got like 3 different sets of them.
Oh, I've seen them at your house.
Yeah.
You should, I mean, you can just give them away.
I know, but it's hard to like, I have to carry them down. Like, who wants them? I tried to give them to my old gym, and they were like, why don't you use them? And I was like, I don't know. I'm going to get rid of them at some point. Maybe the assistant will get rid of those, but I wish they would go away. But they're not going to melt Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. There's nothing that I'm like, oh, I hope this goes away. But I also live my life in a way that I could lose anything and be okay with it. Like, nothing's that big a deal. Maybe my computer, because I have like jokes on it, different things like that. But I assume that's all in the cloud. That would be okay. And there's a lot of things that I'm just like, I don't feel like bending over and picking this up during a fire. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to let it go. The one thing I could think of that I would save, because I've got some cool art in my place. I've collected some art over the years. Most of it is modern, and that the artist is still alive and kicking, and that would even be replaceable. Maybe I couldn't get the exact same thing, but I could get some more of their work, except for one. I do own a Warhol that I bought. It was my pandemic purchase after I read the new biography of Andy Warhol. I was like, I want something, and I bought one on the lower end of. I bought one of his electric chair pieces that I got. That I was like, this is gone if I don't take it out. So I would probably grab that off the wall. How about you?
Yeah, I thought about my grandfather's paintings. There's a couple of them in my house, but we do have a lot more of those in Massachusetts. I thought about this. I feel similar to you. I'm not a material person in the sense that, like, yeah, I collect I have lots of books and sneakers that I like and everything, but I love getting rid of stuff. Nothing makes me happier than just getting rid of stuff. And so there's almost nothing in my house that I feel like I would be that torn up about. But I would take Ellis's stuffed animal, Mr. Owl, and Walker's stuffed animal, Brother Owl. I'm kind of cheating, but they're siblings. With me on the way out, Mr. Owl was like the first gift that Ellis had as just a couple week old baby, and then his Brother Owl, was given to Emeka actually while she was pregnant with Walker. And I'm not too sentimental about much, but I would be torn up if we lost those two guys. So take them with us.
I remember the girl who gave Ellis the owl.
It was my cousin.
Yeah, your cousin that I was friends with, Anna. I loved Anna. Always love Anna. But I remember being jealous that Anna got like the thing that was going to be her. She's going to be an owl girl because of that stuffed animal. I gave her a giant panda bear. Didn't give a shit.
Yeah, we still have that though.
You still have it, but it's not like, oh, I can't go anywhere without my giant panda bear. It's Mr. Owl time.
Well, yeah, you can't carry that panda. It's also kind of deflated over the last 10 or 11 years. I mean, those
because
kids.
Of love.
Yeah, I mean, because we sit on it. There's lots of great stuff. I asked Emeka this, and she had a very practical answer. She said her passport, like her little package of passports, which is like, it would be a pain in the ass.
I'd have someone handing me a new passport right away.
But we don't have assistants like that. You know?
I would. People would figure it out.
She's got multiple ones. It's very complicated, in her situation.
Sure, she's here illegally. I get it. Did your cousin Anna give both owls?
No, my mom actually gave the Brother Owl, who was it was her thought.
Makes me feel better. Speaking of which, have you seen this Real ID thing that's been going on?
Yeah, I got to get one.
No, not anymore. Now they just kicked it down 2 years down the road. I got one. I have a Real ID. Aaron, do you have a Real ID?
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, I got it. I'm like, this is going to be a thing. And now they're like, okay, they're delaying it another 2 years because of whatever. And someone's like, this started in 2015, or maybe was it 2012? No, it was 2005.
You started getting these letters and just things saying you got to get your Real ID. It's coming up.
But it was after 9/11 that they started moving this thing, and now it's like it'll be 20 years. But since they decided we need this to when they're actually going to enforce it now, unless they kick it down the line, we don't need it. You don't need to have this Real ID. Have a normal ID. It'll be fine. I think it's
but when you get I have to get a new license. So when you get your new license, I think you have to.
No,
it's not like there's...
you can get a regular license, fine, or you can do special paperwork to get the Real ID. Like I got mine. I paid a guy to go with me to the DMV and walk me through it. So I didn't have to mess
how
with
hard
anything.
could it be? You're making it sound like
no, it's just annoying. It's like a couple extra steps. But Liz went to get her license like a year ago and was missing one piece of paperwork, and they were like, you can get your regular ID now, or you can come back and get the Real ID. And she was like, just give me that one now. I think it's stupid, and I need to get rid of it. That's my answer. Enjoy your passport, Emeka, while your children burn.
No, they're safe. And I assume, by the way, Lauren, Haley, and Holly just didn't mention Nori among the people that would be safe because Nori is out on the porch already. So
Nori boils alive.
No, Nori is not exactly inside anyways.
At least Nori's going to have a lot of friends waiting for him in heaven.
The next question's from Owen. He asks you, Anthony, while working in New York, did you experience any of the hazing from the back table at the Comedy Cellar from comics like Patrice O'Neill, Jim Norton, Keith Robinson? Because a lot of the New York comics coming up would either crumble from it or describe it like a rite of passage. So it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on it.
That's a great question. I got kind of a pass at the Comedy Cellar when I was there because I remember I was very ready to get roasted at the table. When I started working there, I was like, okay, what's happening here? And it was pretty chill. A lot of the times I was doing the early shows because I was working at Fallon at the time. I wanted to get home. But the guys were like a little nicer to me, were pretty cool. And I was doing well right away. I didn't feel like I had to like kind of earn my chops there. Guys like Colin Quinn were cool to me. Norton was cool to me. Keith Robinson was one of my favorites. He would kind of bust balls, but he was always laughing when he did it. That was great. No one ever hurt my feelings there. Robert Kelly never hurt my feelings there. And Patrice was not at the Comedy Cellar when I was there. He'd been banned. Not banned, but they wouldn't let him perform anymore because I heard he like went up on stage and just like ripped an audience apart so hard that people like, complained and they were like, you can't keep doing this. Get out of here. Go perform somewhere else. And he was still welcome there, but he just didn't show up. And all his friends were like, oh, we miss the Patrice days, but they understood why he was gone. But one day Robert Kelly told me, I was just talking to him and he was like, what? And I'm like, well, I'm listening to you. You're talking. He goes, Anthony, you look like you thought of the meanest thing you could have possibly said to me and are just choosing not to say it. And that was just my resting face, was like, I've got an insult that's too devastating. I'm not going to use it on you. So I think when I first came in, I remember hitting a couple guys early. Not like, just in conversation. There was one guy who was like an older comic and kind of went early on in the lineup, and he kept trying to push me to try to get the Fallon people to have a showcase at the Comedy Cellar. He's like, you should have a showcase and like have all the Comedy Cellar guys perform for the people at Fallon and try to get us on Fallon. And I was like, And like I see Colin Quinn being like, come on, man, stop. You stop bugging him to do this. This is weird. Stop doing it. And he kept on going. He just keeps, no, it'd be great. You could host. And I'm like, why would I want to host a showcase for you guys? And finally, after a while, I'm like, yeah, they were asking me the other day. And he's like, And I go, who's the oldest comic I know? Nobody wants to put you on Fallon. And the table got quiet and they started laughing. Even the guy I made fun of was like, that was funny, actually. Like some people are just like mean, but that was a funny joke. Good. And then no one really messed with me. Like I just got my knocks in. It's like you go to prison your first day, you beat up someone. It was like that for me, that I think I had enough like good lines that I really was truly left alone. And I would see people get destroyed. I would see people get like really upset or people keep piling on. But it was mostly like people good-natured, going back and forth, Norton and Keith Robinson. But it was a fun time, but I didn't get hazed, really.
So now I think people can have a better perspective of why sometimes I start fumbling for what sound drop to play, because you have that resting face of you just look like you thought of the meanest thing you could say.
With you, I just say it. With you, I say it. So.
I sat at the back table with you once, I think, at the probably wasn't with the comedians. It was just back there next to the comedians. But I remember that.
I remember, like, I used to like, sometimes someone like you would come like with me to the cellar.
Yeah.
And there's no one at that table. It's just one like table in the back. But that one table, and there's a sign that says only comics allowed. And if anyone, like an agent came back with a client and sat down, or a friend of someone came and sat down and then tried to talk at the table, like you would allow someone to be there. Because sometimes you walk in and there's like two people at that table. There's plenty of room. So it's like, yeah, sit down with me. But you would try to talk and someone would pick up the little sign like on the table and just put it in front of them. You'd be talking, you'd be like, oh yeah, actually I went to my daughter was born today, so I went to the hospital. And they would just pick up the sign and just put it in front of you. And people would try to be like, haha, yeah, and keep telling the story, and they'd pick it up again and be like, no, like,
wow.
Get the fuck out of here. That was always delightful.
I do remember that. I think I just sat there and listened to you guys for 5 minutes, and then we went. All right, the next question. Oh, it's for me. Thought of a couple questions for you. Do you want to read it?
I'll read it, yeah. I thought of a couple questions for you, Gregg.
Wow.
First is a football question, just to piss off the guy who complained about football questions. How does it feel to be right in your prediction about the Eagles this year?
It feels great. I like it's when you get your picks right. It's good to remind everyone about it all year. I mean, I have like 5. We're doing 5 podcasts a week at this point, so there's a lot to talk about. Although they haven't won the Super Bowl or anything, I picked them to win the Super Bowl and that they were going to be dominant. But yeah, you have good years and bad years. This has been a great year. My guy Geno Smith, who I've always said was better than they gave him a chance for. He's having a great year.
Who do you have the Eagles playing in the Super Bowl?
The Chiefs. I had Mahomes winning the MVP, which I guess isn't that big of an upset pick, but people were really not big on the Chiefs this year. And those are probably going to be the 1 seeds. I know the Chiefs aren't right now, but I think they will be. But who the fuck knows? It's kind of stupid to really honk about your predictions. I really don't do it that much because you're inevitably wrong a million times, and you're not going to be like talking about that.
Of course,
that much.
It's gambling.
It's stupid.
But I thought Bills Eagles. Now we'll see. I guess Chiefs or Bills interchangeable. The Bengals are coming on strong, and of course my pick, the Steelers. They're going to run the table. They're looking good.
This is why you picked this, just to get in that Mike Tomlin. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I do think they could charge strong. They've already won, 3 out of 4 to save Mike Tomlin's record of only being 500 or better every season. They're up to 5-7. I think they're going to beat the Ravens this week with a backup quarterback. I think they got the Browns or something after that. I think they get to 9-8, and Tomlin gets to keep that record.
I think Tomlin doesn't care about the record. I think they'll be 8-9. Looking at it, I think they're not going to run the table like that. I think 8-9, but it's fine. We can finally put that to bed. What did you think of the clip of the guy Tomlin's walking down the tunnel, and some guy's like, "Hey, Coach Tomlin," and Tomlin goes, "I'm fucking working," and just keeps walking. I loved it.
I loved it, and I hate that people are trying to make a thing out of it as if this is somehow a problem, a major problem that Mike Tomlin offended a fan. It was great. It
reminds me of when Mike Ditka would have a radio show where people would try to call in to try to yell at him about how they did that week, and he would dare them to come fight him at the studio, and everyone in Chicago was like, "That's my coach. I love it." Second question from Kylan. Japan is known to be against tattoos, especially older folks, going as far as to kick people out of gyms or
onsen.
Onsen? What's onsen?
Onsen's the hot springs.
Okay, the hot springs.
You get naked.
If a tattoo is showing, have you ever experienced any awkward encounters or looks of disgust from the in-laws if and when they happen to peep the ink?
No, because at the onsen that I have gone to with my father-in-law many times, so we've been. It's not like you plan to go down to the bath at the same time necessarily, but you might see him down there, or he might take you with him the first time to kind of show you around. So you're kind of hanging around nude, but you're not. It's not like you're just all up in each other's business or anything.
No, Gregg. If Gregg was to hang out with his father-in-law nude, they do it at home. You don't have to go out with the ink.
Anyways, so I had that little tattoo of the hurricane symbol with the yin yang on my back, shoulder blade. For the last 20 years. But these last 3 tattoos have all been just before the pandemic or, post-pandemic. So I have not been to an onsen with them since. They sort of they have this second place now where they have kind of a onsen-like thing in their house. Anyways, I haven't been there since, but I'm going to have to get a cover. I'm going to have to... I've already looked online for it for when I'll need it, and I'll have to cover up my shoulders.
I mean, I remember when I went
arm.
to Tokyo with you. You still had just the one tattoo. I think I had maybe just 1 or 2, but I remember you told me we can't go. Your tattoo's bigger than mine, so we can't go to onsen because I have a tattoo. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It says "Yakuza is a loser," and they were like, "You're gonna start fights if you wear that." Cheers! Love the merch, by the way. 5 stars, Kylan.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, great stocking stuffer, the JRVP merch. We haven't, pumped it up lately.
No,
people should check it out at anthonyjeselnik.com. Get it for your loved ones. I do like it when people email us or tweet at us with them wearing the merch all over the globe. So check it out. I don't think there's a holiday sale, but you don't need a sale.
I'm sure there is. This shit's on sale all the time.
It's great.
You can get some, and we got more coming on the way. It's in the pipeline. We'll see how people handle it. And that was Email Corner. Shine on, email.
And that was Email Corner. Diamonds around the world unite.
And now it's time for
Ad copy.
Dad grass. No need to stress over the holidays this year. Dadgrass has you covered, even for those impossible to shop for family members. Even your dog. if you're looking for a gift, you can get pre-rolled joints, you can get hemp flour, you get tinctures, you can get gummy, you can get CBD dog bones.
Let me tell you something right now. If you're listening to this podcast and you have a dad, okay, get your dad grass and then film him opening the dad grass and send it to us. That's what I love the idea of my dad opening up. I know what my dad asked for. He's not getting it. He's getting dad grass and a lot of it. I'm getting him one of each. You can eat the dog treats, Dad. Merry Christmas.
I have given dad grass as a gift. It's perfect. People are always happy with it. It's the modern equivalent of bringing a nice bottle of wine to a party.
Agreed.
Except much better. It's legal, organic, smokable hemp that relaxes your body, mellows your mind. They're pre-rolled joints, very low in THC, high in CBD, so you can enjoy the effects of CBD while keeping a clear head. All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 18 and over. Ships right to your door anywhere in the U.S. We love it, especially because it doesn't make you overly high in a way where you're just kind of a mess and you don't want to be around people. It's a very chill high. Smoke it, before watching a little Tar. Right now, Dadgrass is offering our listeners 20% off your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/JRVP. That is dadgrass.com/JRVP for 20% off your order. That's dadgrass.com/JRVP. So you have a little Dadgrass, you watch a movie, and then you go to bed on your Helix mattress.
Like floating on a pillow.
Helix has 14 unique mattresses. They got the luxury models. That's what we have. What was it? I always forget.
Midnight Deluxe?
Midnight Lux, the black Midnight Lux. They got big and tall sleepers. We don't need it in our family. Mattresses for kids. Would love that. Hook us up, Helix. All you got to do, you take the Helix sleep quiz. You get the personalized mattress shipped straight to your door, free of charge. They have a 100-night risk-free trial. So if you see how your body kind of adjusts to it, you don't have to rush it. If you have it for a month or two and you're just not feeling it, then you can switch it up. They have models with memory foam layers to provide optimal pressure relief if you sleep on your side. They have soft mattresses, they have firm mattresses, they got it all. They're American, they come with a 10 to 15 year warranty, and again, you get it for 100 nights risk-free. Helix has been awarded the #1 mattress picked by GQ and Wired magazine. It's the #1 bed in the Rosenthal household. Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders, 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/JRVP. With Helix, better sleep starts now. helixsleep.com/JRVP.
To a little Dadgrass, curl up in your Helix and watch Tar.
And if you're not ready to go to sleep, you got Roman. Roman is the digital health clinic.
Let's say you just watched Tar, all right, and you're feeling a certain way. Roman.
I do love Kate Blanchett. If you're experiencing ED, there is help. Roman offers genuine FDA-approved medication for as little as $4 per dose. So with Roman, there's no waiting rooms, there's no hassle. There's just a straightforward, convenient digital experience. You go on your laptop, your mobile device, you have a free online visit. They have a U.S. licensed healthcare professional who will work with you to find the best treatment plan. Everything arrives in a discreet packaging. If medication is appropriate, they send it right to your door. It's free 2-day shipping. And it's not expensive. $4 per dose. Anthony's chugging his coffee, iced coffee, on camera. You can hear him doing it. That coffee was more expensive than a dose of Roman.
It's true.
Really is, although that's good coffee. One of my favorites. Right now, Roman offering special offer for our listeners. Use the link ro.co/JRVP today for 20% off your first order. That's ro.co/JRVP for 20% off.
Roman, get it up. And that was
Ad copy.
Let's get the headlines.
Let's get the headlines.
Is this a new one?
Let's get the headlines. Let's get the headlines.
Is that a new one? I feel like I haven't heard that one
I think
before.
it's new, or I used it once and forgot about it a long time ago.
That's how we do things on the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project.
Junior
JRVP.
Vice President.
What a fiasco.
From now on, I'm gonna be chill. I think it's just suddenly.
From now on.
Yeah, because here's what happens. I'm just in the mode of doing our podcast. I'm looking at you. I'm having fun. We're talking. And then suddenly it's like, oh, this segment's over. Or, oh, now you're saying the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project. JRVP.
Junior Vice President.
Thank you, Erica. And then I just suddenly a total panic comes over me. And I'm just like, and then have to press it quickly. But I just chill. Like if there's like an extra beat, it's gonna be fine. I'm like these coaches calling timeouts and stuff in the 2-minute situation. They just freak out and lose everything.
Nobody wants you to be chill. What I want you is to scream every time we do a transition like that. Do it again. Every time it's time for another one, I want to hear that.
That's my mental processing. I mean, that's why I'm not a producer. That's why we've got Aaron.
Yeah.
Thanks, Aaron.
I mean, I think we gotta use Aaron every once in a while here on the reads too. So it's a nice, very public radio voice too.
No one's gonna buy anything Aaron's selling.
Yeah, not bringing the sex appeal quite as much. But this headline.
Jeez.
Sorry. This headline is
Aaron's sitting in a puddle of his own blood over there.
Speaking of which,
missed out meeting my wife. I mean, come on.
That's true. She thinks you're sexy, and that's all that matters.
There's no way she thinks he's sexy.
Not anymore, but
that was a shotgun situation for sure.
Speaking of
shotguns,
shotguns,
Aaron's got a 2-year-old daughter. He's been married 2.5 years, guaranteed.
Incorrect.
Thank you.
All right. Speaking of shotguns, it's the holiday season. Every parent like myself knows what it's like when a kid gets his heart set on a certain gift. My Christmas is coming up Saturday, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
I did. Your family is leaving you Christmas. The saddest. Yeah. You're still married, but you're celebrating like a divorced dad Christmas.
My kids are calling it Daddy Christmas. We're doing it December 11th because that's the last available weekend day before they leave. So I got to get those gifts, and people all over the country getting their gifts. And this 10-year-old boy in Milwaukee really wanted a certain gift, a virtual reality headset, and his mom refused to get it for him, so he shot and he killed her.
How old was the kid?
He was 10.
See, this is it's bad form on the kid's part because you don't know if the mom is actually I want to know what she said that was no, I'm not getting it for you. Was it no, wait and see? Because a lot of parents say we're not getting it for you, and then you open up, you get under the tree and it's there. Is this kid dumb? Also, wound your mom. Shoot your mom in the leg, and then maybe you still might get it. Because I remember a story. I wasn't there for this. My grandmother is raising her kids, one of my mom's brother. And they're at the swimming pool. She's with the kids. She's wearing a bikini. And the kid wants a sailboat. He's like, I want a sailboat. She's like, we're not getting you a sailboat. You're not getting a sailboat. And he kept arguing with her at the pool. And finally, he just reached up and ripped her top off.
Whoa.
Grabbed the top and just pulled it down. And he got that sailboat. He got it. You can fuck your parents up enough that they'll get you whatever you want. You just can't kill them. Is there a dad in the picture? Is the dad getting them the VR set now? Because they don't have a VR set in jail. And I don't know what this kid's going to a foster program. They can't put a 10-year-old in prison.
Yeah, I wish I set this up with a little less levity with the transition and everything. Didn't seem like the dad is in the picture just based on the article and no mention of it. And that the aunt was ultimately who turned him in because he told the police that he was just trying to scare her. He was upset about not getting the gift. He really wanted this virtual reality headset.
Of course.
Also that she was woke him up at 6 a.m. So it was a two-pronged thing that...
Woke him up at 6 a.m. to tell him he's not getting the gift?
I didn't know if it was she gets him up at 6 a.m. every day and he had hated that, or she woke him up that day at 6 a.m. and he was also pushing for the gift. She said, she wasn't going to get it. And then he got her key. It was locked in a drawer. and but he knew where the key was, went to the drawer and shot her. Now, he told the police that he just wanted to scare her and that she walked in the way, which I guess for some reason was a big difference. But then he admitted it to the aunt that he was just mad and shot her on purpose. And he killed her.
Bro, if you can lie to the cops, you can convince the cops that you were just trying to scare your mom and shot her. Because I think cops are willing to believe a 10-year-old didn't really mean to kill his mom.
Right.
But why are you telling the aunt anything?
You can't trust her.
Okay.
It's true. I mean, where is her loyalty? It's with the sister, but 10-year-old isn't really thinking that much.
Bro, you're getting coal for Christmas. Every Christmas for the rest of your life. That's bad. I don't know. I've never tried virtual reality. It must be awesome. If it's a okay to kill your mom situation. What's going to happen to him now?
Well, I don't think he's ever tried it either. He just really wanted it. I don't know what's going to happen to him. This was just a week ago or 2 weeks ago in Milwaukee. They asked the mayor about it. You know, he was very concerned. And this child, they really are kind of painting him as a troubled child. I mean, it's obviously his fault. What are you laughing at? By the way, the glee with which you've introduced this story, you were so happy talking about this kid.
The idea that they are painting him as a troubled child. He shot his mom for some VR.
I get it.
He's troubled. You don't have to paint.
I get it. So they went. I'm just saying. I only got some information in this article, and it was all about how when he was 6 years old, he just like swung a dog around by his tail, and like was
you messing with animals. That's a sign you're gonna do worse shit as it goes.
That just a few months before, he filled a balloon with. I don't know why. It just seems crazy. He filled a balloon with flammable liquid and set it on fire, and like created like a little mini fire in their house, where, you know, the carpets and the couch got burned up a little. She was very concerned about the son, clearly, and had actually put cameras in the house previously to sort of like monitor his behavior, although the cameras had been off for a couple of weeks when he killed the mom.
I don't think the cameras were going to save her, but I guarantee that as this woman was laying and dying, she was like, oh, thank God. I don't deal with it. I bet the aunt's like, fuck, what am I going to do now? This kid he's bad.
I don't know.
He's naughty.
I'm just saying, is someone born like that where they're just like pure evil? It probably wasn't a good situation in general. I mean, it's definitely like a potential script idea for Problem Child 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
they did make Problem Child 3.
Problem Child 4.
Problem Child, like The New Beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. The Good Son.
There has to be more than he just is programmed this way. But yeah, he has been seeing a therapist for a long time, so he's had some emotional issues.
Keep at it, buddy. Keep at it. It's not like an overnight thing. You know, you're going to slip up and kill your mom for a VR headset. Maybe VR headsets, like that's all he needs to stop hurting animals and lighting things on fire and shooting his mom.
It would be like the best present ever if I got Walker a VR headset, or even a video game system in general.
I say don't do it. See what he does. See how long you live.
I mean, a friend of mine, Andrew Hawkins, has kind of developed the first ever NFL game on the VR headset called the NFL Pro Era. It looks cool as hell. Lamar Jackson's like the endorser, and you can just go run around on the VR headset pretending you're Lamar.
You all look stupid wearing VR headsets, running around pretending they're footballs. I want to know so badly, because this isn't a movie or a TV show. She got him the VR headset. It's under the tree. It's in the trunk of the car. It's wrapped up. It's covered up in clothes, so he thinks he got clothes. You know what I mean? And also, if your kid's swinging dogs around by their tail, lighting fires, get him the VR headset. Lie to him and tell him you got him the VR headset. And on Christmas Day, be like, oh, wait, someone took it. Shoot someone else. Let that be a lesson to all our JRVP listeners who have kids. If you're listening to the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project,
JRVP,
Junior Vice President,
and your kid is asking for a VR headset, either get him the headset and let him know you got it, let him watch you buy it, or get the box and leave the box out. Buy yourself some time. That's the JRVP promise.
Or leave the box out with no VR headset in it Christmas morning, then just get the hell out of town. See what happens.
I say shoot him first.
Roll it.
Good one. Here's one Gregg can get behind.
Yeah, pickleball back in the news. Never in the news for a good reason.
No.
In this case, it's a 70-year-old Louisiana man who's been arrested for aggravated assault for pointing his gun at the head of another man during a nasty pickleball dispute.
Okay, so this is pickleball on pickleball violence.
Yeah, they're on the court. They get into an argument, and a man takes out his gat.
So someone's like, hey, that was out. And like, no, it was in. Here's my gat.
Both of us saying gat doesn't sound natural.
Gat.
Just doesn't sound good. Got to get the gat. Yeah, I don't know all of the details, but he had his gun in his bag, and they're yelling at each other over a pickleball. Didn't say exactly what the dispute was, whether the ball was in or out. I don't know if it was as simple as that, but the guy is 70 years old. The other guy was 56. Gets it out of the bag and just like puts it right on his temple. Doesn't pull the trigger, but that's still aggravated assault.
I give him a pass, okay? Because you're 70, you're playing pickleball, that's all you got. You're taking that real serious. You might not wake up tomorrow. You got to win this pickleball game now. Secondly, I think it's a little better that he had it in a bag that he went and got. Because if you're playing pickleball and you can just reach in your back pocket, that's a whole different game. They got to think of a different name for pickleball if that's what they're playing with.
If you could add gunplay into pickleball, I would be less anti pickleball.
If there's a pickleball scene in John Wick 4, I'm in. But release it now. I want to see it.
He goes undercover. He gets into this pickleball league against his enemy. They're midpoint. The guy's tracking the ball in the air. But ow!
You've never seen John Wick, have you? That's not how it would be. John Wick running through some tennis courts, and he comes across a pickleball game, and they all happen to have guns on them because they aren't pickleball players. They're assassins who play pickleball as a cover. That's a John Wick thing.
I've never seen John Wick still.
You got it, man. You got to see all three.
I will.
They're amazing. I'll go see John Wick 4 with every listener. Email Gregg and tell him why you should come with me to see John Wick 4 and explain it all to Gregg.
You know who's probably seen it is like uber masculine guy, old Aaron over there. He's seen all the guy movies.
You've seen all three John Wicks?
I've only seen the first one.
Really? I mean, the first one is the best one. 2's amazing. 3's amazing. I would put them 1, 2, 3. I would accept 2, 1, 3. 3's the third one for sure. No one's going to doubt that. What if you're playing pickleball? All right. What if things had worked out differently for this guy? He gets mad about a pickleball call. He goes to the bag. It's crazy you'd have to have a bag there. Gets the gun from the bag. Goes to shoot the guy. Misses. Hits the kid who wants the VR headset.
I mean, it kind of solves two problems, I guess. Mm-hmm. It works out.
Get that 70-year-old man a VR headset. Everyone should get a VR headset under penalty of death.
The guy who was arrested in court said that he was defending his life, liberty, freedom, and the ability to play pickleball.
He said that.
I made up the last part, but He did say that defending his life, liberty, and freedom.
I don't believe it, but I do believe that
he really said that. He really said that.
I don't. Yeah, I don't believe. Like he said it, but I don't believe him. That's what he was doing.
Right. I also don't believe that that's like something you can use.
I think when you play pickleball, it feminizes you. It makes you weak. You lose T. You lose that testosterone, and you start to panic. You start to freak out. You do a little Ben Shapiro action and try to get back into it, and you end up getting arrested. What's he being charged with? Like
aggravated assault. I think he was already guilty. The district attorney, Ian Dover, when he addressed the jury, said, "I don't want this to become the new normal. This can't be how we respond to disagreements on the pickleball court." Thank you, Ian Dover. Someone had to say it. We can't do this on the pickleball court. We can't take out a gun and stick it in someone's head every time we disagree with the call.
Aaron, let's say you're playing pickleball. And you're getting in a fight, you're in an argument with a guy, and he goes for his bag on the side of the court. What do you do?
Shoot myself.
Smart.
For playing pickleball.
I would take my pickleball racket, turn it backwards, put my mouth on it, and then fall forward and let it just burst through the back of my head. I'm not letting some fucking 70-year-old man get the drop on me.
Why not just throw a sidearm pickleball racket? What do you call it?
No, it's not against the rules.
And just try to paddle, hit them in the head, and knock them out.
No. It's so much smarter to put the racket in your mouth and then fall on your face and kill yourself. So much smarter. Why you have the buttons in front of you, and then to the side you do this. You put your finger down like you're pressing a button, like to show me that you're...
I was just showing you it's time for ad copy. I didn't know if you knew, so I was pointing at the ad.
Oh, okay. And now it's time for...
ad copy.
You didn't seem like you were warming up to it. A ad I like to read is Policy Genius. Life insurance through the workplace may not offer enough protection for your family's needs, and it won't follow you if you leave your job, or it's not even offered at your workplace, or it costs a lot of money through your workplace. That's where Policy Genius comes in.
These people work for you. You go onto the website, you sign up for that stuff. You got 20 people trying to find you life insurance.
So life insurance gets more expensive as we age. Now that I'm becoming a fatty McGee and
Let's say you got 2
kids.
Let's say you got 2 kids and one of them wants a VR headset. You better have life insurance.
If you have,
let's say you play pickleball. You better have life insurance.
you have life insurance, right?
Oh yeah.
So don't you just feel better about it? You feel that your loved ones and people in your life will be taken care of if something should happen.
You want people to be happy when you die. You want a little like I'm dead present to give all your friends and
I don't know
family.
about happy, but it's like this is almost all bad, but there is like a little bright side to it.
Yeah, you want them taken care of. It's like, oh, he thought of us in life. Even if they hated you, when you die and they get something, they're going to be like, oh, he wasn't so bad.
So Policy Genius modernized the life insurance industry. Their technology makes it really easy to compare different life insurance quotes. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $17 per month for $500,000 worth of coverage. They're not incentivized to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance and what they recommend depending on what your needs are. There are no added fees, and your personal info is private. Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net, and you deserve a smarter way to find and buy it. You can head to Policy Genius or click the link in our podcast description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. Another thing I love to save a little money, save a little energy, give me a little energy is Athletic Greens.
Athletic Greens every morning, 10 ounces of water, 1 scoop, shake it up, drink it up, wash it out for the next day. You don't want that thing getting gross. It is machine washable, and you're going to feel better. Your gut health is going to improve through the roof. You get all your vitamins, all your minerals. Cold and flu season, miss me with that bullshit. Okay? Liz got hit. Liz caught a stray on flu season. I'm drinking Athletic Greens every single day. Liz skips some days. I don't. And that's why I'm the healthiest guy in the world.
I love Athletic Greens. It's great for your gut health. It's a daily habit that can make you healthier. We love Athletic Greens so much. They're back for 2023. You're going to have to think of 52 new ways to talk about Athletic Greens, and it's going to be easy.
Done. I could do it right now.
All right.
I want to save something.
It's time to reclaim your health. Arm your immune system with the convenient daily nutrition that is Athletic Greens. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health.
I'll never die.
Athletic Greens is going to give you 1 year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. I love the travel packs.
I can talk to plants.
All you have to do, visit athleticgreens.com/JRVP. Again, athleticgreens.com/JRVP. Take ownership over your health. Pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Never cough again, and that was
Ad copy.
Let's get back to headlines.
So a retired police officer in Wisconsin
Love the story.
was arrested on 4 counts of child pornography. but he believes he has the perfect defense. He admitted that he habitually views indecent material, but he said it should be, quote, no harm, no foul, as long as he promises to stop looking at it in the future.
Love this. Love this guy. I love that he would try. I can talk my way out of this. It's just pictures of children being sexually abused. It's not like I'm actually doing anything to the kids. I'm just looking at the pictures, guys. No harm, no foul. I'm gonna quit. Take my word for it. I'll see you at work on Monday. That's not how any of this works. It sounds like it should. I do love that he would say no harm, no foul.
That was in court. That was his response to what really was going on here. He's like, I was looking at it. There was no way around it because he was a police sergeant and they had all of the material like on his police
like
sites.
lanyard?
No, I believe
badge?
it was on his phone and his computer, so they had it all. There was no way out, and he was just like, but no harm, no foul, and I promise I'm not going to do it again. 73-year-old retired police sergeant.
I love that his like lawyer being like, okay, listen, don't say anything in there. I'm like, no, I'm just going to tell him no harm, no foul. And he's like, please don't say no harm, no foul. You're going to get 20 more years if you say that. Do you think he talked him down from, hey, Your Honor, if there's grass on the field, play ball. Your Honor, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Am I right? I'll quit. Like, I love this guy. He sounds like a dude. He sounds like he's just a guy, was a cop, thought he could get away with it forever. I do believe that, Aaron, what percentage of police officers, retired police officers, do you think have child porn on them at all times?
15%?
Oh, you're low. Okay. I'm thinking 25, 30% of retired police officers have child porn on them at all times. That's a fact. And so this guy is just kind of taking one for the team. He's just like, they gave him all their child porn. Now he's just like, I'll take one for all the police officers. But no harm, no foul is great. I wish I could have seen the looks on everyone's faces in the courtroom when he said that.
Yeah, he's in a town called West Allis, near Green Bay, in Wisconsin.
Your Honor, kids say the craziest things. Was that an option?
I think you're painting a broad brush here with the retired police sergeant. That number feels high. Like if you're a retired police sergeant that listens to the show and you want to let us know and that you're not into this stuff, email us at Junior Vice President, JRVP at
JRVP,
Gmail.
Junior Vice President.
JRVP,
Look,
Junior Vice President.
I said retired police officers. Sergeants, 100%. All those 25, 30% of retired police officers are all sergeants. I don't know what it is about that job, but they're fucked up. And the only thing that keeps them from acting on their desires is the law. And then when they're retired, it's like, well, how about one for me? One for them, one for me. That's what he's thinking. And I'll tell you right now, he's the JRVP Listener of the Week.
Why?
I like getting our little child porn fix every week on the JRVP.
I don't think you deserved the JRVP Listener of the Week. I did appreciate, though, that you only chose one child porn story.
We had a couple.
There actually were two options.
When you have
we know what Anthony likes.
When you have someone saying no harm, no foul in a child porn case, and that's his defense, you're getting the JRVP Listener of the Week every time. We'll see you next week. Different retired police sergeant.
Last headline.
I love the last headline song.
All right, a Buddhist in Thailand, being a Buddhist, like a Buddhist temple in Thailand, already sounds like a pretty great place to be. But what if you took all that peace and solitude and you cranked it up to 11 with the best meth this side of Indonesia?
Ow!
That's right. It's the Thai meth temple where every single monk tested positive for meth.
How many monks are we talking?
4 and like another word for a monk that I forget right now.
It's just 4 and then
5. It was 5.
Five. So the whole temple is just 5 guys. That's not a lot of monks for a temple. That's why they had to do the meth. You got to clean that bitch every day. You got to get your honey somehow. I think meth probably just made it all easier because you think meth isn't helping your meditation. How'd they get the meth?
Meth is apparently a big problem in the area where this temple is, just generally. So I don't know how they got it, but it seems to be freely available.
So my guess is they caught one monk The monk was driving crazy or something, or like got in a fight. How did they catch them? I assume they got one monk and then went and tested everybody, and everyone failed.
I don't have a ton of background detail on this. Did look around for it. Basically, they all tested positive. I'm not sure why they started to test them. Maybe they just seemed fucking crazy during whatever you do.
The monk off?
Well, they don't have sermons exactly.
No.
So
a lot of them don't even talk. They just do meth.
So I'm trying to think of what they would do. But you're right. Maybe it was a test that they were doing. Like if you can meditate and have total peace of mind and like a clarity while doing meth, like that's the highest level you can reach.
That's pretty good. I think it's strictly a cleaning thing. I remember I had a friend who was like...
strictly a cleaning thing.
I had a friend who was like, yeah, I've done meth before. And I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, if I got to clean my house. I was like, there are better ways to clean your house than doing meth. That's not... You don't want to risk addiction and losing all your teeth and picking at your skin to have a clean house. Even though that house was clean as fuck. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they were defrocked. That's the official word for it. They took away...
You can get refrocked whenever you want as a monk. Like they'll take kind of whoever.
They went to recovery places. They're like in addiction recovery right now. The monks. The temple as of now is empty in terms of the monks, and the nearby villagers are concerned because they cannot do any merit making. So they're going there. You want to do a little merit making. There's no monks there right now, but they are going to be sending some monks.
Those monks had a sweet gig because it's like, hey, I want to get into heaven. And you're like, oh, God told me, I was meditating on it. God told me to tell you to bring me a glass pipe and go see John and bring me back whatever he gives you, because I love that fucking meth. The first monk to take meth, I love it. I want to hear more about it. I wonder if one of those guys wasn't even smoking meth. It was like secondhand meth. He was just around. He's not a narc, but he's rolling his eyes at these guys, and then he gets busted.
Yeah, apparently there's like a lot of meth in the area. Maybe they just started having teeth started falling out, and people got suspicious. I don't know. I don't know.
I think I read the story like a week ago when this came out, and I think one guy got busted for something, figured out he was on meth, and then tested everyone else, and they all failed. That's bad. But you know what? If all your friends jump off a cliff, go ahead and jump off that cliff. You know? I think monks are all like one for all for one, right, Aaron?
That's what I heard.
Yeah, they're one for all for one, and if one of them's doing meth, you got to jump on that train. I'd like to read more about this.
I like the practice of being a monk. Sounds like it would be kind of I would try it out.
It sounds nice.
I like the idea. One thing I read about I don't know if this is all monks or just the ones I read about, that their definition of gossip was talking about anyone that's not physically next to you. That you don't need to be talking about anyone that's not right there in the room with you. I was like, that I don't follow.
That's
that,
what monks are all about.
Good.
That's their main tenet, is don't talk about anyone unless they're there. Did you see the game last night? I can't talk about it.
I think it makes sense if you really think about it. You don't need to be doing that. That's just gossip.
I forget who told me the story in New York.
If you're gonna say it to their face.
And someone told me the story that like this happened to a friend of theirs. It was this beautiful girl, this like beautiful hot girl who was sexually adventurous, meets a monk, and she's like, this monk was hot. He was like in his 20s and just like shaved head, a beautiful man, like just cut. And they start talking, they're flirting, and she's figures out he's a virgin. And she's like, makes it her mission to have sex with this guy. She's like, I want to get this guy to leave the monkhood behind and come be with me because he's so beautiful. And she said that they have sex finally. They like talk about it. They go back to her place. They have sex. And like as he finishes, he's like, yes, you're a bad person. You're a bad person. You're terrible. You're a sinner. And just gets up and is like putting his clothes on as like he's saying all this, and then leaves, and she never saw him again. And I was like, that's a good monk story. One day, I'm going to tell it in the pod.
I thought it was setting up for like a joke, like a
No,
joke.
and she was bragging about it. She was like, yeah, I got this monk to have sex with me.
It's a real Fleabag situation, you know?
I don't know, but that's okay when it comes to Fleabag.
She stole her whole thing.
Fleabag is a show for kids. It's like the Animal Farm of TV shows.
Fleabag is great.
And now it's time for
Choo-choo!
recommendation station. Greg, you had a message you wanted to give before.
Yeah, a listener, Anne, wrote in to to the email address, jrvpjuniorvicepresident@gmail.com, saying she'd love to see us on the Goodreads app where you can track your reading, set yearly goals, and see what you're reading. And she was saying it'd be interesting to see our list of things we don't recommend on the pod, too. And just thanks for all the recommendations, and that we've reignited her love for reading fiction. We hear stuff like that from listeners, which is very cool.
Would you be interested in getting on Goodreads? Like, I know what it is, but I'm on
it. I actually do it. That's where I sort of keep track of what books I read, but I'm not like, I've never told anyone my handle or whatever, so no one would be, it's just for myself.
Isn't your handle just Gregg Rosenthal at Bookreads or whatever?
I don't know, probably.
Because I gave you this thing like a year ago, maybe, this company called Tertulia, Tertulia, came up with this app that's like a reading app, where I think you can get, like, they go through social media, find people who are recommending books, and like they'll post some of those. You tell them what you're into, nonfiction, fiction, science, philosophy, whatever, and they'll give you kind of like what people are talking about there. It's almost like if you worked at a bookstore and people were like, oh, this is the new book that's out. Like, you get to see that stuff. You get discounts on books if you buy it through them. And not through Amazon, but through like other companies. And I'll go in and I'll just say, I'm reading this now. I type in the book, it's on my list, and then when I'm done, I go from reading to read, and it says, would you recommend it? I'm usually a yes, and then I just keep track of it that way. But I've enjoyed that. But I would be open to Goodreads if you want to set up a JRVP account with me. And
one account for the both of us, so now I gotta have two accounts? I am on there. I actually I have 13 followers. I was unaware that maybe those are bots or something.
If I start an account, can we combine our accounts to, like, these are under the JRVP? Aaron, would you get a Goodreads account with us?
If you want to see the 3 books I still haven't finished, sure.
I would love that, Aaron. I would love it. What's your recommendation this week?
Well, yeah, we could make one together. But yeah, that's separate.
I'd be open to it.
I feel like we could do it separately.
Maybe the assistant. Maybe for next year. Maybe 2023 will be the year of the Goodreads.
I like it because I tend to be generous, though. I don't want to bury. If I really dislike a book, sometimes I don't put it, or I just don't rate it. It's like, well, you don't need to bury it.
Yeah, I just don't. Trust me, I've read like 60 books this year. I've only recommended 50 of them, 45 or whatever. There are books I read where I'm like, I didn't hate it, but I don't want to recommend it. But I'd happily put those on a list.
My percentage of recommendations, I think, are lower because I'm just trying to do bangers like Migrations by Charlotte McConaughey. You heard of this book?
No.
It's a couple of years old, actually, 2 years old, although I think it was widely read then. She's an Australian writer, but it was released here in the U.S. I would say it's in the climate fiction genre, if that's a genre. If you liked Emily John St. Mandel.
Emily St. John Mandel.
Emily
St. John
Mandel.
And who's the other girl? The girl who did, Jenny Ophil does environmental...
Yeah, but I think the style of the writing to me reminded me a lot more of St. John Mandel, and she even had the blurb on the front, which somehow felt perfect. It almost felt like it could have been written about it, but it's about a world not too different from ours, not too far into the future, but animals are going extinct and have gone extinct, a lot of them, and the character in the book is tracking the flight of like the last birds on Earth, which are these Arctic terns. And then you learn about her. She talks her way onto this ship. So much of the book is on this ship that is following these birds and jumps back and forth between her old life, and you kind of learn how the world got to this point. It's at its best when she's on the ship. She's a badass character, though. She's almost like a superhero. And her superpower is going into extremely cold water, freezing water. She loves freezing water, but she's a great character, and it's a great story, and it's a quick read. It's probably like 220 pages, and I found it very readable. It's called Migrations by Charlotte McConaughey.
Spell McConaughey.
MC, capital C, and then I think it's Ounaghy, but I think that's just me.
I think you misspelled it, but I'm gonna email this to myself. I like that book. Sounds great, and I will be in it. My recommendation this week is also a book. This is a great one. This book is called Excuse me. This book is called Dr. No by Percival Everett. Percival Everett is an author I discovered this year. He's been around. He's a professor at USC. He's has put out a ton of books. And one of my favorite books of the year, it was a finalist for the book, or in the short list for the Booker Prize, or the long list maybe, called The Trees by Percival Everett. I recommended it a few months ago. It was maybe my favorite book I've read all year.
Wow.
I'm going to do my top 10 later on in a couple weeks. But Percival Everett I was really into, and he just came out with this book called Dr. No. It's about one character is like basically a Bond villain. He wants to be a Bond villain and like destroy the world the way Bond villains used to. And he hires like an academic who's the main character to try and help him like procure something that will help him end the world. And it's very funny. And much like The Trees, it's very funny, very clever, and the writing is fantastic. That if you want to read cool books, but you're not like, oh, I get bored, this book is not boring. The way he writes it is, it feels like you're watching a movie, reading it. Dr. No by Percival Everett. Fantastic book. I loved it. And that was Recommendation Station. Congratulations again to our Junior Vice President winner. Congratulations to everyone who submitted. Maybe we'll have more contests like this in the future. Now, Walker, get us out of here.
Whoa, Nelly Furtado, that's a spicy meatball.
What do you think about No Harm, No Foul?